Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally. Guys, as you see from the title, I am talking about the last couple of days, actually Wednesdays when I heard about it first, and have been contemplating whether I should discuss it until I read this article and I said, I have to talk about this. Having years and years, over 15 years of human resources experience, being in the field, being someone that managed FMLA leave and dealing with a lot of employees that are carrying babies, um, and some of the implications that I'm hearing that happen with the whole Ramsey Solutions situation and Chris Hogan. Let's talk about it. Before I get any further, I just want to say this before I even get into the article. I want you guys to be aware that I have, in my however many years on earth, I have an utmost respect for what it is that he does for people in the financial space and from a personal financial standpoint. I love the fact that his organization helps people to get out of debt in record time with sheer determination through a 7-step program. And of course, Chris Hogan, which we're going to talk about as well. I have utmost respect for what it is that they do for people and how they're serving, how they're serving the marketplace by helping people to manage their money properly, helping people to do better with their money so they can enjoy more of their lives. And I have utmost respect for them, so much so. I want you guys to understand this is not it's difficult because I have so much respect for the organization. I actually bought Dave Ramsey's 2 books, Financial Peace University and Total Money Makeover, almost 15, 20 years ago when, the book was first, book was first made, made made his debut in the marketplace. So I want you guys to know I am coming from a very unbiased place. At the same token, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And as an employer, Ramsey Solutions has a responsibility to uphold employment laws as well as the way from what I'm about to read in this article, what I've seen in the article. Now, let me read the article for you, and I'm also going to share the link for the article in the chat. That way, you guys know I'm not here capping. I'm here talking about something that, number one, I actually saw the video that Chris Hogan put on there, which kind of piqued my attention on Wednesday, but hearing more and more about it now, Lord. So, I want you guys to be aware that not because I have respect for the organization, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're making the right or wrong decisions. I just want to make you guys aware of that. So, the title of the article is from WIBR.com. That's 10 News, actually 10 News in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is, of course, the Ramsey Solutions is located in Tennessee. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware. That's where they're housed. So of course, the local news is going to be reporting on one of the larger companies in their state. So here's the article. Nashville, Tennessee, in the wake of a new filing in a federal lawsuit against Dave Ramsey or Ramsey Solutions, claiming employees were fired or disciplined for premarital sex. A top personality in the company, Chris Hogan, announced he was leaving for undisclosed things going on in his personal life. That's what he stated. Chris Hogan, billed as one of the top personalities in Ramsey's Wilmington County headquarters, released a YouTube video on Wednesday, which I actually did watch, in which he announced his departure from the company. Here are his words. I need to let you all know some things going on in my personal life, Hogan said. Recently, it has come to light that I have done some things personally that are not in line with Ramsey Solutions. And as a result, I am no longer a team member of Ramsey. In other words, either got terminated voluntarily or involuntarily. because Mr. Hogan's announcement comes 2 days after attorneys for Caitlin O'Connor, a former Ramsey employee, files request for Hogan's personal files as part of an ongoing federal lawsuit. Yikes. O'Connor is suing Ramsey Solutions, saying that after 4 years of employment, she was unfairly terminated after being pregnant out of wedlock. We're going to come back to that because my HR bells are ringing right now. As part of O'Connor's filing, attorneys claim that 8 Ramsey Solution employees were disciplined for having premarital sex. HR bells ringing again. All right, let me keep going. Let's see here. In a motion last month to try and dismiss part of O'Connor's lawsuit, attorneys for Dave Ramsey responded by writing this. He is a purveyor, He's a purveyor of biblically based educational resources, prohibits employees from engaging in premarital sex. The plaintiff's employment was terminated for violating this rule. Oh boy, my HR bells are ringing like crazy. All right, let me keep going. Attorneys for Ramsey did not respond to WBIR's request or request for comments by WSMV's deadline, and the company's public relations team has yet to respond to any of their requests for an interview. WSVM is a sister station in Nashville of WIBR, which is where I'm getting this article from. I put the link of it in the chat so you guys can see. Let me keep reading. Their only response was to block News 4 investigates on Twitter after their story in which another former Ramsey employee said that she was fired after her husband criticized the company's Christmas party, which was a large gathering with few masks. I think in some situations, they do cross a line that an employer shouldn't cross. The former employee told News 4 Investigates. While Hogan did not elaborate on what personal issues led to his departure, his ex-wife, Melissa Hogan, wrote about what she called painful personal events that led to their divorce in 2019. She states, I speak publicly at great risk that Ramsey Solutions could very well take steps to terminate my ex-husband, and thus profoundly impacting the financial well-being of my family and my medically fragile son's health, which is maintained through Ramsey Solutions, and which he desperately needs, Melissa Hogan wrote. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's so many things I could talk about in the article. My HR bells are going off for the fact that Miss O'Connor is talking about, or she's suing. This is not a state lawsuit. This is a federal lawsuit that she is suing that she was terminated while she was pregnant. Oh, hello, Miss Credit Solutions. I appreciate you joining. Thank you for joining the live today. It's a situation that the HR woman in me could not ignore. Number one, over 15 years, I have been working in the HR field in areas of employee relations, especially leave management, short-term disability, benefits administration, and all of those things. And of course, the minute I hear somebody suing an employer, they're violating FMLA law. Yes, I did read in the article where it stated that they have a rule that you cannot have premarital sex because not one, not two, but 8 employees stated that Ramsey Solutions has a rule that because this young lady was pregnant and it was derived from premarital sex. That's why she was terminated, based on the rule that they have. However, I don't know who their attorney is, who their employment law attorney is, but they need to seriously look into who it is that they've hired, because a rule that infringes upon a person's personal decisions outside of the organization, as an organization, you're reaching a little bit too far. How would you like if I said, for instance, if I hired you and I tell you, oh, you're not allowed to date that guy, but you're allowed to date this guy. And if you don't date that guy, then I'm going to fire you. That's pretty much what that rule is speculating. And it's way too far reaching. There's no way. My FMLA management hat is ringing off the shelf. She's pregnant. She's pregnant and you fired her while she was pregnant. That's why this lawsuit is federal. We're breaking federal employment laws right now. You're breaking the FMLA law by terminating a pregnant woman that's been there for 4 years, so she qualifies for FMLA. And if he has more than 50 employees in that building alone in Tennessee, plus all the other financial counselors all over the country within a 70-mile radius, that's FMLA law 101. It's not gonna fly. At the end of the day, I have so much respect for what it is that they do in the marketplace. But red flag number one, you fired somebody that was pregnant and they qualify for FMLA. That's one. Number two, I have a huge problem with you making rules in an organization that 8, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 8 people in the organization stated that they were terminated or disciplined because they had premarital sex. Oh, Lord. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, boy. Listen, Miss Credit Solutionist, I appreciate you stopping by for us to have this conversation. They actually, to answer your question, Miss Credit Solutionist, they said this, the reason for the termination was based on their rule of none of their employees having premarital sex, because they based their termination on the rule they have with the organization, not because she was pregnant. However, because she was pregnant, she has grounds to sue on a federal level. So that was mistake number one. You don't sue any decent employment law, and any decent employee relations lawyer is going to tell you never to don't terminate a pregnant person. It would have been better if they had let her have the baby, go on maternity leave, and then address the situation after she came back. That way, there's no premise for them to breach an FMLA law. But because they did it while she's pregnant, they're gonna get hit on multiple employment laws because of it. That's why that lawsuit and them requesting that employee file from Mr. Chris Hogan, they have to do it. They have to give it up. That's probably part of the reason he departed and did that video on Wednesday. I'm gonna guess it wasn't by choice, because I don't know if he has anything to do with that employee getting pregnant. That I don't know. There's speculations out there. I've seen a couple of other videos in the last couple of days. But number one, when I saw Chris Hogan giving that short video and he's no longer part of the organization, my alarms went off. What happened? Then, as a couple of days passed by, I'm realizing there's more to the story. That article that's linked in the chat also talks about 8 other employees. There's another employee that stated that the spouse of an employee got fired. The employee got fired because the spouse made a comment about the Christmas party where there was a large gathering, but not many people wearing masks. And that employee was terminated because they had a criticism of the Christmas party. Oh, boy. All right. What's the question now? What if she was artificially inseminated? Exactly. They don't know that. That's the problem with this. Because the overarching premarital sex rule does not necessarily always apply to a pregnant person. How do they know she had premarital sex? From what I understand, that's none of their business. That's her personal life. That is not. How is her having premarital sex going to affect the duties of her job? I understand they're a biblically based organization and they sell biblically based educational products. I get that. But how is that? This lawsuit and the fact there's 9 already in agreement with some of the company rules that's essentially breaking employment laws, FMLA being the chief of them. They haven't seen the last of that young lady. She's already requesting files. She's probably going to request the files of other people. This is not going to, they're going to either let go some money for it to go away in that good night because they broke the law. In more than one situation, they broke the law. And it's unfortunate because I have so much respect for this organization because of what they do in the marketplace. But your HR department should have warned you before they terminated a pregnant woman that qualifies for FMLA. Disciplinary action should be based on performance, not by personal choices that you make in your bedroom. I have respect for the organization, but this is that's reaching a little bit too far in your personal life. And as much as I'd want to say, well, this and that, no, you're going too far. And unfortunately, the employee might end up winning because of the strenuous position that the company put themselves in. I don't think people realize employers are subjected to at least 300 plus employment laws, including EEOC, FMLA, and a string of others. So she can sue for pregnancy discrimination. She's probably suing for pregnancy discrimination. That's probably one of the things she's suing for. And the FMLA on top of that. And some other things. What she does in her personal life is not Ramsey Solutions' business. I'm just going to be honest with that. People may not agree with me. People may not like it. But it's the truth. What I choose to do outside of the organization is my business. I'm a grown adult. So the fact that they had that rule, I can understand if they had like a non-fraternization rule in their organization, what takes place in their building. Okay, I get that. But premarital sex as a broad spectrum, no. Not gonna fly. I'm sure either we'll hear more about it, either the news is going to be asking questions, or the other party, which is the young lady, Miss O'Connor, that's filing the federal suit, or maybe some of those other employees may be joining her in that suit. At the end of the day, as an HR professional, that rule should have never existed. I'm sorry. You're going to be fired for premarital sex. No. Yeah. They can afford it. She's about to have a massive payout for real. Pregnancy discrimination. FMLA, you broke the FMLA law. And she's tie a few other things in there, but those are the things that are standing out. And the fact that you have a premarital sex rule in your organization. I understand why. I understand the moral piece of it, but you have employment laws to adhere to. And the morality of it in some cases, especially because this is an overreaching rule into people's personal life, should not have been a rule that was upheld. Because now it's going to cost them money to have such a rule and to terminate and discipline employees based on that rule. And that has nothing to do with what the people are doing in your organization. Stay out of people's bedrooms. It's kind of like the government telling me whether I should or should not have a child. Stay out of my womb. You have no right to be there. And I have to vehemently disagree with the way they're approaching their employees with this rule. Ugh. Premarital sex rule. That is nuts. Guys, take a look at that article below. There's a quick video, but I'm sure there's people that have more information than I do. I'm just looking at it from an objective standpoint. Whoever your HR department is, I need them to do better. And I understand the moral piece of it, but that should have never been a rule that you so vehemently have taken steps to terminate people based on their personal choice outside of the organization. And of course, guys, if you have any other questions, of course, feel them here. Of course, I have as I told you guys, I have 15 plus years in HR, especially in the area of leave management, benefits, employee relations. This is not a good move for Ramsey Solutions. Of course, the links will be below for the article that we talked about. And of course, if I hear anything else, may do an update video. We'll see what happens with it. But I hear, my HR bells were ringing when I started reading that article. Oh, she was terminated while she was pregnant. Oh, God. Sucker punch in the gut. Not a good move at all. Not at all. She's about to get a massive payout for sure. That's another question. Who's your employee? Who's your EEOC people? Who's your employment lawyer? I'm sure an organization as large as that has an specialized employment lawyer on retainer. How in the world did they approve that rule? Nobody reviewed your handbook? That's something when one of my first HR coordination jobs back in the day, I used to review handbooks for rules such for making sure that the laws and the rules for the organization lined up with regular employment law. That's not something that shouldn't have even been in your. That shouldn't have not even been in your rule book. It shouldn't have been in your handbook. Personal choice. Personal choice has nothing to do with my job, and the fact that overreaching rule is in my personal business. That's going to be a huge issue for that organization, and I'm going to bet you after this that rule is going to change. And if it doesn't, more people are going to sue. It's unfortunate, but true. More people are going to sue because it doesn't make any sense. Their employment lawyer is not doing them any justice because that should have never been a rule in the first place. Anything that infringes upon somebody's personal choices, that definitely is. If I want to sin, I should be able to sin on my own, I guess. I'm not upholding that because, of course, I have a lot of similar beliefs, but that has no place in an employer's rule book. You're infringing upon laws. All right, guys. I just wanted to give you my take on this from an HR standpoint. Nah. That was not a good move on Dave Ramsey Solutions part. I understand the premise, but it should have never been in the rule book. Now it's going to cost them thousands, maybe millions of dollars. And there's a high probability they will not win this lawsuit. The fact that one of their major commentators had to leave, yeah. And it's a federal lawsuit. And it's not just Miss O'Connor. It's 8, 9 other people. having something to say about how they deal with people that they don't like. Yeah, it's not looking good for them. I do wish them all the best, but the wrong choice was first wrong choice was to make that rule, because that rule is what's causing all kinds of hell for them right now. That's what's causing all kinds of tomfoolery in the court, with the federal court at that, because FMLA is a federal law that they broke. So, guys, of course, if you, as a company, if you're looking to hire employees, things of that nature, you can check out my links at mentorshelley.com/consultations. The link for that will be below. If you are looking to make sure you stay out of liability waters like Ramsey Solutions is in right now. And of course, let's see. Yeah, unfortunately. No, I think he practices what he preaches. He is not broke. Credit Solution is. Dave Ramsey is not broke. When I tell you there's reserves upon reserves upon reserves upon reserves for that particular company, from what he said in previous videos, has been running in the green for at least 15 years, if not more. They have the goods. If he stops doing the show now, then he never has to work again. His employees though might have a problem, but and personal assets, I think his personal assets are going to be protected. That's going to be Ramsey Solution. That's a company thing, and I'm hoping he has E&O insurance, because that's going to get hit up to pay that lawsuit. Oh yeah, there's insurances to cover that kind of stuff, guys. Just so you're aware. I have a background in insurance as well. Benefits insurance and also company insurance. There's liability insurance to cover errors and omissions. This is definitely an error. So they have insurance to cover it. Now that deductibles on there, that depends. But they'll have insurance to cover it. But this should have never even happened. That rule is what really gaslighted this whole thing. That's the rule. They use a rule to terminate a pregnant employee. So that is going to cost them money. Lots and lots of money on several levels. And the reputation. Because I was pro Dave. I'm pro Dave because of what they do for people. Help them with their personal finance. I own 2 of the books, for crying out loud. And I watch his commentary sometimes live on YouTube. So part of me is sad that this organization is going through this. Your employment lawyers didn't inform me properly, so I have to pay the piper at some point. All right, guys. Anybody have any questions, any other concerns, or just from an HR standpoint, not a good look at all. All right, guys. Miss Credit Solutions, we appreciate you stopping by for the live tonight. I'm going to be doing these more regularly. 9 times out of 10, it's either going to be a Friday or a Saturday evening. That way, for my people that are looking for career advice or career coaching, or in this case, HR consulting, you guys have more times on the weekend. So I want to be here to answer questions for you or discuss a particular topic. This one I could not leave alone because my HR radar was going off just from reading the article alone. But of course, guys, if you definitely want to work with me or you have questions or concerns, you can leave comments below, or you can go to mentorshelley.com/contact, where you can leave me a voicemail or an email message, and I'll be more than happy to return those voicemails and emails within 24 hours, guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, remember, guys, they're pushing the time forward tonight, so we're going to lose an hour for the next 6 months. But make sure at the end of the day, guys, you are working for organizations or you're forming organizations that don't have crazy rules like this that's infringing upon people's personal rights. All right, guys, take care. You have a good one. Thank you, Ms. Credit Solutions, for all your comments and questions and suggestions. You guys take care, and I'll see you live next week. Bye.